Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Well, the Tigers have made it a habit of playing in close games this year. They've also made it a habit of winning those close games. In their last 9 one-run contests, the Tigers are 7-2, including last night's comeback win on Jose Iglesias' big single. It's a nice night for baseball. Welcome to Seattle. Tonight, Game 2 in the series, featuring the Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Ron Allen, glad to have you with us here for Game 2 in the series. How about these comeback casts, Rod? Another one-run victory, but more importantly, another late comeback win last night.
It's an exciting ball club, and the one thing that we know after watching this club through the first 6 weeks of the season, they're never out of any game. It really doesn't matter which pitcher has started that game. It really doesn't matter which bullpen they're going up against. These guys have put together some quality at-bats, and they have been able to come back a bunch this season.
Well, now, speaking of bullpens, the Tigers' bullpen has been awesome here in the month of May. When you look at some of the numbers this bullpen has been able to put up, this has been a unit that has really gotten it done here in the month of May. 57 innings. They've thrown a lot of innings, but the numbers are good in terms of ERA, whip, grounding into double plays, and a whole bunch more. So when you look at the relievers, I know Ryan Gardner's got to be pretty stoked right now.
And no doubt about that. He really doesn't have one guy for the 7th inning. He has the 8th inning taken care of, and he also has the 9th inning taken care of. But take a look in last night's game. He used 3 different pitchers to get through the 7th inning. Buck Farmer got one out. Blaine Hardy, he came in, chipped in. He got the left-hander out. That would be D. Gordon. He punched him out. And then you have Softball coming into the game. He made a quality pitch as well to a real good hitter, and he got him out with runners in scoring position. And how about Big Joe Jimenez? He has been throwing some seeds up there, 97, 98. He has been simply money, and Shane Green has been perfect on the road this year. 6 saves and 6 chances. He pitched a clean 9th inning last night. I was very encouraged by that outing last night, Mario. And the Tigers don't win the game last night if it were not for what the bullpen did in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings.
All right, what do you got in the matchup tonight? It's going to be a pretty good one now. Felix Hernandez doesn't have the stuff that he usually had, at least early on in his career. But Michael Fulmer also trying to bounce back. Intriguing matchup tonight.
Well, I talked to James McCann before the game today, and he said that in the last couple of outings, Fulmer has not had good command at all. As a matter of fact, he's had no feeling for his fastball and throwing that ball over the plate, and the slider has been getting hit as well. You see those numbers on Fulmer, 4.37. We don't see his ERA in that number very often. He's only won one game this year, and he really needs to get on track. You brought up Felix Hernandez. No longer does he have that 95-mile-per-hour fastball, but he still gets a lot of swings and misses on his changeup and his slider. This should be a really good game tonight, but I'm hoping that Michael Fulmer can stay out there a while, get that bullpen a little bit of a break, and more importantly for him, Mario, gain some confidence.
All right, quick break, then we'll go to the Colsham Studios, check in with Trevor Thompson. Coming up in this one here tonight, hopefully Michael Fulmer has a good one for the Tigers, hoping for a bounce-back start against Seattle. Tigers M's, this is Game 2, coming up next. Hernandez is taking them out tonight. Game 2 in this series between the Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. On a cool but nice night for baseball here in Seattle. The Tigers starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Leonis Martin is back in there for the Tigers off the disabled list. Jacoby Jones, Nick Castellanos, and Victor Martinez, your top 4. Hicks at first. Goodrum gets the start at third. And a bottom 3 of McCann, Iglesias, and Machado. And on the mound, King Felix, presented by Jeff Glover and Associates Realtors.
And Tigers should have a pretty good idea of what King Felix will try to do to them this evening. They just saw him 5 days ago. They know he does not have the 95-mile-per-hour fastball. He got them to swing and miss at a lot of changeups and a lot of curveballs. He pitched 5 innings in that game and got the win, but he needed almost 100 pitches in the 5 innings.
So good to see Leonis Martin back in the Tigers lineup. Activated today after a hamstring problem. Put him on the disabled list. Here we go. The first pitch of tonight's ball game is a strike called on Martin.
And already the Seattle Mariners with the shift on the infield against Martin. They know him very well. He has spent some time in the Seattle Mariners uniform in his big league career.
Now Felix with the 0-1, and Martin rolls one foul. Leonis played with Seattle in 2016 and part of 2017. So they do indeed know him well here. Martin has provided some pop at the top of the Tigers lineup. He's also provided a guy that has gone on base and driven in some runs.
Lots of extra base hits as well for Leonis.
It'll miss outside. The count goes 1-2.
That's about the best fastball you'll see from Hernandez these days. He used to be 97 and 98 with a 90-mile-per-hour changeup. His top fastball now 91, 92. Lots of changeups, lots of curveballs.
Pounded foul back out of play. Time out for the Bernstein advantage, and Leonis Martin career against Felix Hernandez pretty good.
Whoa.
344 with 5 RBIs and 6 extra base hits.
No wonder why he was fighting to get back in there today.
Well, they're ready to go with their signs and their t-shirts out there in left field in the King's Court.
Tigers are going to have to take a lot of those pitches that Leonis just took right there from Hernandez, that breaking ball in the dirt. Make him get the ball up in the strike zone. Give yourself a chance to put the ball in play.
Here is the 2-2. Outside 3-2 now on Martin.
Ozanino already starting tonight trying to pull that ball back in the strike zone.
Jacoby next, and then Nick Castellanos. Two is on the ground at first base, straight at Healy, and he'll tag the bag for the out. One gone.
Yeah, let's take a peek at the Seattle Mariners starting defensive alignment this evening. In the outfield, left to right, they've got Gamble, Heredia, Haniger. In the infield, they've got D. Gordon, who won a Gold Glove in 2015 for the Miami Marlins. He's making his first start there this year. Robinson Cano, as you know, has been suspended for 80 games. So D, who was playing center field, now playing second base.
Certainly not a very unfamiliar spot for D. Gordon. So took some ground balls recently, and now he's good to go tonight.
He said all the right things before the game. He said he was just going to occupy the position until Cano got ready to play, and then he simply was going to go back out to center field or wherever they want him to play.
Jacoby pops it up. First base side for Healy, and out number 2. A 1 pitch out for Hernandez. 2 gone. That'll bring up Castellanos. Hernandez is 32 years old. He hails from Valencia, Venezuela. A dominating career, not quite the pitcher he was, but still good enough to win ball games. He has won 5 of them this year.
There was a decade there, partner, when King Felix is one of the best pitchers in the sport, top 5 for about a decade.
Nick fouls it back out of play. Well, Felix signed that 7-year deal after the 2013 season, or before the 2013 season, which will expire at the end of next year. He's ready now with the 0-1.
And he missed the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, he is at the top of plenty of the Mariners ranks, including starts and wins and strikeouts. Line to left field. That'll get down. A base hit. Castellanos takes a breaking ball, slams it to left. A 2-out single. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the Tiger Box to a participating Arby's location tomorrow, and you will get a free small order of curly fries. 2-out chance out for Victor Martinez.
And Castellanos picking right up where he left off last night. Had 2 hits in the contest last night. He singled in his final at bat in the 9th.
V-Mart recently snapped, and by recently I mean last night, an 0 for 20 slump. But he had a huge knock late in the game. His 1-out single in the 8th eventually started the winning rally.
He's got decent numbers against Felix Hernandez, 300, which is really good. There's not many guys walking around with a career 300 batting average against Felix Hernandez, and the amount of bats that Victor has against him.
Runner goes. Here comes Nino's throw. He couldn't handle it. Ball fell out of his hand. It'll be a stolen base for Castellanos.
And Zunino just rushed. And a lot of times when you rush as a catcher, when you're too quick with your feet and you mishandle the baseball, you can't make that throw. Nice job by Nicholas Castellanos getting a good jump.
First steal of the year for Castellanos, in scoring position now. 2-0 on Victor. Outside 3-0.
Not shifting on Victor as much as they normally shift on Victor. He's got a huge hole right here. Should he just hit something on the ground? I mean, that obviously would plate Nicholas Castellanos. But it looks like King Felix is going to put him on after the steal of second base by Nicholas Castellanos. He's going to go after John Hicks instead of Victor.
Strike called on the outer edge. 3-1. Martinez a step toward first base, called back. Hicks waiting on deck, continues to fill in for Miguel Cabrera, who is still on the disabled list. Tigers playing some pretty good baseball without some key members of their lineup.
Yeah, everyone's got that next man up mentality.
Chopper to the first baseman, foul. 3-2 now on Victor. Martinez at 231 had 2 hits in last night's game. Ron Gardner's bunch is really playing well. They're playing an aggressive brand of baseball. It's kind of a never say die brand of baseball as well.
It's very refreshing to watch every night.
Now the 3-2. Outside, lost in ball 4. 2-out walk for Martinez, and now Hernandez will start fresh here with John Hicks.
If you're Hicks, you can pretty much, if you want to, you can sit on something soft on the very first pitch. Now, if he throws you a fastball, obviously you have to take it. But Felix Hernandez these days, like a lot of pitchers in the big leagues, when runners are in scoring position, they tend to go to their off-speed pitches.
Ball 1 to Hicks. There's Nick at second and Victor at first. That'll bend inside and miss. Now 2-0.
If you're wondering about the strength of the outfielder's arms, Gamble in left's got a strong arm. In right field, Haniger's got a pretty good arm. But in center field, Heredia, his arm is average from that position that he plays.
Meanwhile, Mel Stottlemyre coming out here and using a mound visit. 5 batters into the game. Felix got a couple of quick outs, but has struggled since. Single, steal, walk. And the next Hernandez pitch will be his 20th here of the first inning. Hicks last night was 1 for 3. It's been a really good month of May for the Tiger first baseman. 351 this month. Way inside, almost hit him, and now 3-0. All of a sudden it appears that Hernandez has lost it.
You green lighting Hicks here?
Why not? 2 outs. Talking to Gardy about Hicks before the game today, talking about his strength. He was green lighted all right, swinging a miss.
Just so you know, I agreed with you. I thought he was swinging too. What was he saying about Hicks?
Well, I asked him, you know, some guys, when you play them every day and they're part-time players, they get exposed, but it's not been the case with Hicks this year. There's a strike in the inside part, Fred. He was talking about how John sometimes he will look so bad and so overmatched on a fastball, and then the very next pitch he'll pound it to the gap or pound it over the fence. He's very strong and a better hitter than most give him credit for. He began his career here in Seattle. Runner's going, and it's drilled toward left center field. There you go, into the gap. It'll go to the wall. This should get 2 runs in. Martinez rumbling around third base, and John Hicks has driven in a pair. It's a 2-out double for Hicks.
Tigers have come out with a totally different game plan here today against Felix Hernandez. I told you they saw him 5 days ago, and they didn't do much against him, but Hicks did do some damage against him in that game, and he does more damage against him right now in the first inning. He smokes that ball in the gap, a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Not only does Nicholas score, but how about Victor Martinez rumbling around third?
Vimar needs some oxygen right now. There's a bender that drops in for a strike. So Hicks with a 2-run double. He's knocked in 15 now. And it appeared to be an easy inning for Hernandez, and it's turned into a 2-run frame and maybe more. Whistled foul back into the seats. Nico didn't play in the opener last night. He's playing in there tonight. He has a 6-game hitting streak. Now the 0-2. Fly ball center field, hit pretty good. Heredia's on the move, still going back. He looks up, it's off the wall. Another run will score, and Goodrum has doubled in a run. It is 3-0 Detroit.
And Tigers doing a nice job of making King Felix get that ball up in the strike zone, and when he's gotten it up in the strike zone, they have not missed it. He's kind of changed the way he's pitching to the Tigers today versus the last time they saw him. Throwing a lot of fastballs already in this first inning, whereas last time they saw him, he threw a lot of breaking balls.
Goodrum gets RBI number 11, and here is James McCann. A 3 spot in the first inning for the Tigers tonight. McCann 0 for 3 in the opener last night, batting .266.
This is great news. At least 3 runs in the first inning for Michael Fulmer, who usually doesn't get a whole lot of run support. This is big. This should allow him to relax as well, Mario.
Fulmer coming off back-to-back rocky starts will certainly welcome that 3 spot and see if McCann can add to it. There's a ball that just missed outside, 2-1. It's turned into a nightmarish inning for Felix Hernandez. He is about to throw his 30th pitch. And it all started with a 2-out single by Castellanos.
And with the 3 runs that the Tigers have plated here in the first inning, it is more support than Michael Fulmer has gotten in 6 of his starts this year. So clearly, we know he's appreciating it. McCann choking up a little bit on that bat.
Fouled away.
First time I've ever noticed McCann choking up a little bit with 2 strikes. I think this team makes adjustments well with 2 strikes. They don't strike out all that often. We've seen several guys choke up.
Fulmer trying to keep loose. It's been a lengthy top of the first, but he'll take it. Ball lifted in the air to center field. Heredia will cruise over there, and that will end the inning. But a good inning for the Tigers. They scored 3 runs. Somebody get Victor some air. Tigers have 3 early runs back here at Safeco Field in the watchful eye of Ken Griffey Jr., one of their best all-time players in their history. Michael Fulmer tonight, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Michael checks in with 1 win, 3 losses, the .437 earned run average. He has punched out 39. He's walked 15. His last couple of outings, he's given up 11 earned runs. That is not Michael Fulmer-like. Let's hope he gets back on track this evening.
Well, he's got himself a nice little cushion to work with early on here as Deke Gordon steps in. The Mariners take their first swings against Fulmer, and Gordon looks at a strike.
The Tigers have done a nice job in the 4 games they've played this year against the Mariners against Deke Gordon.
The 0-1 pitch, and Gordon takes low, 1-1.
And it's really one of the reasons why the Tigers have been able to win quite a few games. They've kept him off the base paths.
Gordon 3 for 15 versus the Tigers this year. Now Fulmer goes high, 2-1.
That's what we'll watch for very closely tonight with Michael Fulmer. That fastball, it'll be in the mid-90s, but will he leave it up and away from most of the left-handers and up and in to some of the right-handers?
Pull on the ground to second. Easy 1-hop there for Machado, and 1 gone. Rest of the lineup for Seattle, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Gordon is followed by Gene Segura, then Mitch Haniger. Nelly Cruz is back in the lineup, DHing tonight for Seattle. Kyle Seager, Ryan Healy, and a bottom 3 of Gamble, Zunino, and Heredia. Here's Segura.
Segura having a pretty solid season at the shortstop position for the Mariners. You look at some of his ranks in the American League, and they're right up there in the top 5 with a lot of the other American League shortstops, and there are some good ones in this league.
Chopper up the middle. Iglesias will not get there. A base hit. Wide turn for Segura.
And Tigers line up this way tonight behind Michael Fulmer. Leonis Martin is back in center field after spending 10 days on the disabled list. In the infield, you have Goodrum at third base. It had been Cosma who had been playing third base the last number of games. Iglesias, Machado, Hicks round out the infield with James McCann catching here for the second consecutive evening.
Martin well versed in playing the center field here at Seiko. He had done it for a couple of years, parts of 2 years. Here is Mitch Haniger.
Michael has to keep a close eye on Segura over at first base. He has 11 steals. He's been caught once this year. But Michael doesn't give up a lot of stolen bases. He holds the baseball well. He slows down the running game.
Haniger drives one in the air to right center field, playable. Martin under it. And Segura retreats. 2 gone now. And as you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game.
Don't mind if I do.
Well, now later. 2 away now for Cruz. Nelson Cruz missed the ball game last night. Was hit on the foot a couple of days ago, and apparently it bruised his foot so bad that he missed a couple of games.
He really couldn't even walk for a couple of days.
In there, strike 1 on Cruz. Cruz comes in 4 for 5 in his career against Fulmer. Suffered that injury on Tuesday. He's back in there tonight. Fouled away.
In his career, Nelson Cruz has done a lot of damage against Detroit Tigers pitching, whether it be during the regular season when he was wearing that Texas Rangers uniform or the Orioles or this Mariners uniform, and in the postseason as well. They've had trouble getting him out.
Segura drives back in. He has 11 steals this year, has been caught only once. Between Gordon and Segura at the top of their lineup, 26 stolen bases. Tigers got 3 in the top of the first. 2-run double Hicks, RBI double Goodrum. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Cruz is out of there, and so are the Mariners. No runs, 1 hit, and a 1-man left. Tigers bat in the second here, leading 3-0 early on against Seattle. It'll be the bottom two, Iglesias, Machado, then back up top to Martin. Meanwhile, Hernandez threw 32 first inning pitches, and he'll fire a ball low.
And Tigers are going to get into the Mariner bullpen fairly early tonight, and it's a bullpen that has been struggling. Since April 29th, they have the highest earned run average in baseball out of that bullpen.
That'll bend in for a strike. Iglesias buckling out of the way. Meanwhile, the Tiger bullpen has been totally the opposite. They've been really good in May.
Absolute money.
2-1. Tigers really in the month of April struggled to find their footing, and they've gotten some guys in some roles now, and they're filling those roles nicely.
Last night, Ron Gardenhire used 3 different pitchers to get 1 out apiece to help them win that ball game.
Ball 4 low. Iglesias with a leadoff walk here in the second.
Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. If you tuned in a little bit late here, you missed a lot. It's a hanging breaking ball that Nicholas Castellanos ripped for a single. And then he walked Victor Martinez, and there was big bad John Hicks waiting on him. A 3-2 fastball. He ripped into the gap, and he played it 2. And there Nico Goodrum also got a fastball up and ripped it off the base of the wall in left center field and drove in the 3rd run of the inning. Iglesias might be running here too. He's been running a lot this year, so we'll watch for that.
Hernandez now has walked a pair. His first walk, Martinez came around to score. Machado showing bunts. Dixon last night with a 7-game hitting streak coming to an end. The average now at 223. It was hit by a pitch in last night's game.
A modest lead right now for Iglesias over at first.
There he goes. Zunino's throw is high and off the glove. Iglesias on his way to third, and he's going to make it standing up.
I am really enjoying the way that these Tigers have been playing in 2018. Ron Gardenhire has turned all the guys that can run loose. Iglesias gets a great jump. I mean, great jump. Zunino rushes and throw, bounces off the glove of Segura. He gets up quickly and able to get over to third base with nobody out. Golden opportunity to drive in another run here for Machado.
And now the M's will pull the infield in.
These teams, Mario, this team reminds me of Gardenhire's teams in Minnesota when the Tigers used to roll in there with a real good team and they would give them fits.
Those teams had a couple of guys in the middle of their lineup in Maurer and Morneau that could bang and they could hit the ball over the fence, but by and large they played exactly like this.
Yeah, the kid Casilla, who was a switch hitter in the infield, Punto in the infield switch hitter. Those guys could run as well. They put a lot of pressure on you. And that's the one word that Gardenhire has used here quite a bit. Put pressure on the opposition. It's a rough start for Felix today.
Crowd getting antsy now as Hernandez has walked his third. 2 on, nobody out. Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's.
We got a couple of candidates already in this one.
And we may have a few more before it's over. Leonis Martin is 0 for 1. Meanwhile, Hernandez has thrown 41 pitches and has retired nobody here in the second. Popped up. Foul ground, third base side. It's going to be Seager, and 1 gone. So that's a big out for Hernandez. And now Jacoby Jones. of funny how sometimes you lose your best player, which the Tigers have in Miguel Cabrera, and all of a sudden they begin playing their best baseball. It's kind of hard to put that together.
Well, they've got a hungry group. And that much we do know. They know that a lot of these guys are going to get an opportunity to play this year, especially because the Tigers are rebuilding. And Ron Gardner has these guys playing with a tremendous amount of confidence right
now. Bouncing ball. Seager, great play, goes to second. One relay is in time. A double play.
Unbelievable play right there.
All the way around. Seager to Gordon to Healy, and they wiggle out of the jam.
Pitch by pitch back on May 12th. Michael Fulmer had 5 strikeouts in the contest, and Seager was one of those strikeouts. He got him with a 96-mile-per-hour swing back fastball at the top of the strike zone. Was called for strike 3.
So it'll be Seager to get it started here in the second, and we'll see how Fulmer does this time. 1 for 7 with a punch out versus Michael. Seager, Healy, and Gamble for Seattle. First one is in there, strike call.
Yeah, most of the fastballs that Fulmer has thrown so far this evening has been 95 and above. So the velocity is there, and the command hasn't been bad.
Popped up. Third base side as Iglesias calling off Goodwin. Iggy wasn't going to let that one. I got it, Big Bob.
Iggy trying to get them put outs, man.
One away, and here is Ryan Healy. Fulmer 2 starts ago was absolutely dominating Texas, and then in the 6th inning he issued a walk to Delino DeShields, and things went downhill from there.
I had a lengthy conversation with James today, and he was pointing back to that 6th inning, and he said when Michael went out there for the 6th, after being brilliant through the first 5, he had no feeling for the fastball. He had no feeling for command, and he was out of that game in a hurry. And then McCann went on to say he was a little better in his last outing against the Seattle Mariners team, but he wasn't quite as good as we've been seeing Michael since he's been in the big leagues.
But how do you lose that feeling that quickly?
I don't know.
I mean, it turned on a dime for him in that Texas game.
The only thing that I can think of, Mario, and this is not to make an excuse, but it's just a fact. He was pitching so well that day. He only had given up the 1 home run, and he walked 1 batter in the 2nd inning. So really, he hadn't been in the stretch the entire game until he walked DeShields in the 6th. And then all of a sudden, going to the stretch, he had no command whatsoever.
He ended up losing that game, and then, of course, roughed up a bit by Seattle in his last start as well. Shattered bat and caught by Iglesias. Healy is out of there.
To be perfectly honest with you, Seattle has kind of had Michael's number. He's made 3 career starts against them, and he's 0-2 with a .517 earned run average.
Here's Ben Gamble now with 2 outs. Gamble is hitting an even .200 in the ball game last night. Started in left field, made a nice running play, and was on base a couple of times, single and a walk.
He made a great catch. He robbed Nicholas Castellanos of his 3rd hit of the evening and his 2nd double.
Oh, 0-2 on Gamble. Tigers gave Fulmer a 3-0 lead in the first. Sprayed foul, back out of play.
A lot of fastballs already thrown through the first couple of frames by Michael. Not many off-speed pitches. He is challenging this Seattle team with his heater.
Got him, strike 3. Gamble caught looking, 2nd strikeout of the game for Fulmer in a 1-2-3 second. Felix Hernandez, a member of the Carhartt starting rotation, which donates $100 to helmets to hard hats for every strikeout. Last season, over $125,000 was donated. Of course, we've talked about the very celebrated career Felix had, a 6-time All-Star.
And good for him and the money that he raises as well.
He has got Castellanos to lead things off here. He rolls one to 3rd, diving stop Seager. That's another great play by Kyle Seager.
That is the 2nd time in the series that Nicholas Castellanos has been flat out robbed of a double. Gamble got him last night, and Seager, who made a crucial error in last night's game, is already flashing the leather. He started that 5-4-3 double play to end last half inning off the bat of Jacoby, and he makes a dandy play right there.
Seager won a Gold Glove a couple of years ago, and we see why. Here is Martinez. Shifting on Victor now with D. Gordon in shallow right. Missed the inside corner, 2-0.
Victor gets dialed in for the fastballs. And should he get one here from Felix? And usually when he gets a 2-0 fastball, Victor's turning and burning on it, not trying to hit a single. Bender there from Felix at 84 miles an hour.
Here's the 2-1. Right to Santiago with still soft hands. Nice play there, Ramon.
Dave Clark over at third would probably give him some props.
Well, he should, because he was on him on the last homestand. There you go. With Santiago, let one go by. Clark, he was all over him.
These guys are having a lot of fun right down there right now. It's a good coaching staff. It's a good group.
Here's the 3-2. Lifted in the air. Third base side, Seager charging. And Martinez is out. By the way, the Tigers take on the White Sox Friday, May 25th at 7:10. You know what's going to happen on that night? Well, after the game, the first post-game fireworks show of the season. 866-66-TIGER for more ticket information. Go to tigers.com either way. And enjoy a fireworks display following the game. John Hicks. Bender drops in, strike one. Hicks a 2-run double in the first. Ball up and in, and the count is 0-2. He is hitting .302 now with 15 RBIs. And the thing about Hicks is he continues to make strides at first base defensively. We chatted about this last night, how he kind of taken that catcher's mentality out there to first, blocking balls instead of using his hands and using his glove.
He was out early again today. Working on his craft over at first base.
Wait, miss, down he goes. Hicks is out of there, and King Felix a 1-2-3 third inning. That is his first strikeout of the ball game.
Tell you the same thing. He needs to get more consistent with what he's doing right now. He's a big, powerful guy, and you know, he's shown flashes of that for 4 and 5 innings. But I think we all know that he can do that for 7 and 8. He did that a little earlier, so he's our go-to guy when it comes to these games. And you know what? He's worked really hard in between starts here, so we look forward to seeing what happens. Him getting back out there and maybe getting us deep into the game. We always need that. That protects everybody. So, and that's what you want as your big guy.
Well, so far so good for Fulmer in this one. As Zunino cuts and misses 0-2.
And Michael Fulmer about 85% fastballs here through the first 2 frames. He's thrown 23 pitches, and the majority of those have been fastballs above 95 miles an hour.
And down he goes. 96 up the letters.
He ain't playing tonight.
It'll be his 3rd strikeout of the ball game.
And good morning, good afternoon, and nighty night from Mr. Zunino. Can't catch up to 96 up there. 12 pitches already above 95 from Michael.
Heredia batting. 3 out of 4 in the ball game last night with an RBI. The Tigers have not been able to get this guy out. He's batting .444 in his career against the Tigers. That was a good pitch.
Back-to-back slide pieces after 3 straight fastballs to Zunino, and outstanding sliders.
8 of 9. First pitch strikes. 1 time through the lineup. There's 95 up top that Heredia lays off of. D. Gordon waiting on deck. 3-0. Tigers got a 3 spot in the first. Got him. Strike 3. See you later.
Ooh, Michael is on 1 tonight.
3 straight strikeouts now for Fulmer. He has 4 for the game.
And here's all 3 pitches to Heredia. And back-to-back slide pieces, one at 86, the other at 84. Then he comes back at 95 on the black. Whatever he worked on in between this start and his last start against Seattle, I'll say it's worked very well for a couple of innings here tonight for Michael.
What do you think, in your opinion, is the value of Chris Bosio diagnosing things between starts?
I think Bosio does a really good job, Mario, and he's different from any other pitching coach that really have been around. He's very much hands-on. I mean, hands-on from the word go. And proof of that, after 4 days of taking over the Tigers' job, he was already calling the players because he's already watched video and he'd already noticed some flaws in some of the guys' deliveries, and that's just unheard of for a new coach. They usually give you a few weeks before they say something, as Martin catches the 3rd out of the inning.
1, 2, 3 they go. 3-0 ball game. You're watching Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Hernandez back to work facing Goodrum, McCann, and Iglesias. Tigers put up a 3-spot in the first inning and has held up so far. They got a 2-run double from Hicks, RBI double from Nico. Goodrum now a 7-game hitting streak, longest of his brief major league career. Four homers, 11 RBIs now for Goodrum. Pulled on the ground to first base. Actually, it's going to get through to second, and D. Gordon shell toss for the out. One gone. Let's bring in Mickey York.
Hey, Mario. Mariners television and radio voices, Dave Sims and Rick Riz are lucky to be alive. All right, maybe that's a slight exaggeration. Lucky to still all be in one piece. Last month, on an off day in Minnesota, Riz, Sims, Mariners hitting coach Edgar Martinez, and a few other guys got together to play a game of pickup basketball. What resulted was absolute carnage. Riz tore his bicep off his bone while trying to make a steal. Earlier that day, Sims blew out an Achilles tendon. He just returned to the booth last night after missing a month after having surgery. Riz, I'm happy to report, has begun physical therapy. He's still wearing a brace, but guys, the Mariners broadcast, I tell you, the bad boys have nothing on those guys. I mean, they play for keeps. It's serious, and probably a no basketball clause will be written into their next contracts here in Seattle.
I talked to Dave Sims the other day, and I said, well, how did you do it? What happened on the court? He said, I don't know. I just made a move on the baseline and pop. That's all it took.
Guys, Edgar Martinez also sprained a knee during that same game. He's okay, though. Yeah, it wasn't as bad. It was unbelievable. They were dropping like flies.
You know what, Mick? That's why I love that businessman's workout. Get on the elliptical and a little sauna, a little steam, a little jacuzzi, and call it a morning.
At our age, you got to have the non-contact workouts. That exercise will kill you, though. I've been saying that for years.
You can see the crutches right behind there. Those are Dave Sims' crutches.
Well, yeah, Dave's still on the scooter, too, walking around on the boot. So, yeah, it's going to be a while before he's back on two wheels altogether.
Hey, Mick, we have a day off coming up. You want to shoot some hoops?
No, I stopped playing basketball 10 years ago.
All right, thanks, Mick. Appreciate it. Of course, Rick Riz, former Tigers announcer. There's a bouncer up the middle into center field. Iglesias on again, a single to go with his walk. 2-out base hit. That is one announcer's list I do not want to be on. I mean, you're talking about an Achilles.
And I was talking to Dave Sims. He told me he hadn't played basketball in 20 years. I'm saying, dude, what are you doing?
Well, it's probably going to be another 20 years before he gets out there. Here is Machado now with 2 outs. Dixon a walk in the second. Hernandez had a nice little roll going. He had retired 7 straight before that single.
And Tigers just need to keep the pressure on Felix here today. He's already thrown a ton of pitches. The next one will be 60. That is about the first pitch out, Mario, that I can remember seeing in a long time in the big leagues. You just don't see pitch outs very often anymore.
And Iglesias was going nowhere. 1-0 on Machado.
It's funny we would see that pitch out because I was talking to Ron Gardenhire yesterday during batting practice, and I was asking him about the pitch out. He says they don't use the pitch out. They use an abbreviated pitch out. They will call for a fastball outside, and they don't want it to be a strike because they want McCann or whoever's behind the plate to have a really good look at throwing the ball down to second base. And he said that's something that Bosio implemented. He says that's the way Bosio wants to do it. But Gardenhire in his career has always been a guy that's pitched out.
Runner goes, and it's fouled off. Well, here's the question. How often do you see teams pitch out on back-to-back pitches?
Not very often.
Not very often. So
only the craftiest of managers.
If you have a pitch out, wouldn't you go on the next pitch?
Yes, indeed.
If you want to steal a base?
No question about that. That's great observation on your part. We have seen some managers over the years. LaRussa used to do it. Sparky, he used to do it. You know, Billy Martin, some of your old school. But running was much more prevalent back in those days, though. You know what I mean?
And now you don't even get one pitch out. Yanked down the left field line, foul.
It's in King's Court. All the yellow shirts down the left field corner. There was a time where that King's Court, man, was full on nights where Felix was pitching.
One and two to count. Some of those shirts out there are tighter than others.
What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying?
Leave that to your imagination. 1-2 Dixon Machado. Tigers lead 3-0. Dixon, a 7-game hitting streak coming to an end last night. And Felix missing inside. Running it even now 2-2. Top of the order waiting on deck, Leonis Martin. Runner goes. Bouncing ball foul.
And Iglesias getting his sprints in. He continues to get real good jumps. .32. And for Felix Hernandez in the first frame. 11 in the second and third. He's also thrown 11 so far in this inning.
Tigers have swiped 2 bags in this game. This time Iggy holds on a swing and a miss to strike him out. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We are headed to the bottom of the 4th. All right, Trev, here it is 3-0. The Tigers have the lead behind Michael Fulmer. Tigers got all 3 runs in the first off Hernandez. Here's a strike called. 1-1.
How about the Pirates, man? That team is in first place.
Hard to believe.
First place in the Central.
Austin Meadows, the 9th overall pick in 2013, their top prospect, and a team that has lost McCutchen and Garrett Cole. And they just keep on rolling.
Just another example of a really good manager that's rallied the troops, and that would be Clint Hurdle. He's been a manager for a long, long time in the big leagues and does a very nice job of motivating his ball players in the same fashion that Ron Gardenhire does.
Segura, Haniger, and Cruz. Hammer to center field on a line, but Martin gets over there. It's one of their hardest hit balls all night.
Michael Fulmer, through the first 11 batters in the game, has thrown a lot of fastballs. Time for the DTE, earning you know your own power. Most of the fastballs have been 95 and above. Not a lot of hard contact, if any. Saw the bat off right there, and the Tigers are making plays for him too, because he's pitching very aggressively and pitching with a real nice pace today.
Here is Mitch Haniger. Again, 95 and above. That last one at 96.
Yeah, 77% right now with that fastball. He ain't playing. He's getting that ball right back from James McCann and firing it back home with a really nice tempo today. Ooh, that's dirty. That's dirty.
I think dropped off the table.
That's not fair.
And now it's 0-2 on Haniger.
First pitch at 96, and then you come back with that.
Strike on the outside corner at 96. See you later. 2 gone.
And here's what he did to Haniger. First pitch fastball 96. Wicked, wicked slider, and he comes right back with another fastball at 96. Well, the adjustments that Michael made in the bullpen in between starts has allowed him to really throw that fastball consistently for strikes today, and it's overpowering. Is he pitching angry to you?
He's getting a lot of swings and misses. I know that much. He's got that look on his face.
Michael usually one of those guys that will speak to you on the day that he's pitching. I mean, if you say hello to Michael, he'll give you a hello that you can hear. Yeah, but he walked into the dugout today, and I said, "Hey, Michael, how you doing?" And he gave me one of those.
A hello that you could hear. You're right, man. Sometimes you don't get those.
No, he gave me one of them today. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, I acknowledge you, but you know, not today.
Well, not today. It's right. That is 6 strikeouts now as he blows away Cruz in a 1-2-3 4th inning. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Time now for Menards in the big money encounter. The Tigers and Seattle playing a lot of 1-run games this year. The Tigers have 18 of them. Seattle 16.
And both teams have pretty good records in one-run affairs.
Well, here is Martin to lead things off in the 5th. Leonis, then Jones, then Castellanos against the right-hander Hernandez. Strike one on Leonis.
And Leonis has already bunted successfully for a couple of base hits this year down the third baseline. Nice smile out there for his former teammate, Felix Hernandez.
Roll foul. He is not going to bunt here, but these shifts present a problem for guys that do have the ability to bunt, because the second baseman Gordon had to run in 1.5 miles on that first pitch. And to cover a lot of ground. Obviously at 0-2 now he won't bunt, but these shifts certainly present many problems from traditional setups. 1-2. Martin did not want to go on the disabled list, but the Tigers thought better of it.
You know what's fascinating to me about the shifts, though, is that the pitcher. It used to be when teams would shift, you would pitch to the shift. I mean, if they were playing a team away, you'd throw the ball away. If you were playing a guy to pull, they would throw the ball in so that the hitter would pull the baseball. But nowadays, the pitchers really don't even care where the defenders are. They are still just pitching their game. They're going outside and they're playing him to pull.
And again, outside. I did find it interesting recently talking with Gardenhire, saying that pitchers do have the ability to call off shifts or move infielders around, which I didn't realize. There's a ground ball to first. Healy. Oh, bobbles it, and that's going to cost him. Martin just beat that out, but it went right through Healy.
Why did Healy just lob it? It looked like he might have still had a closer play than it turned out to be had he not lobbed that ball to Felix. He was going to cover the bag, but giving him a little firmer throw. Nice break there for the Tigers. Ball right through Healy's legs. Now watch him when he goes to grab it. He's just going to lob it. That's why they want you, if you're a first baseman, to not play the ball with two hands. Get yourself in a much better athletic position and just use that one hand to make the plays at first base. Most guys at first base only use one hand. Very seldom will you see the first baseman get in front of balls like that.
Well, and that's something Gardy was talking about with Hicks and how he's using two hands too much. And sometimes you panic when you don't realize that you're the closest guy to first base. And you don't really have far to go. Meanwhile, Jones.
Yeah, Leonis is fresh off the disabled list. He was on the disabled list with a hamstring strain. So I don't know how much he'll be running tonight. He did run the bases before the game today and pronounced himself healthy, and that's why they took him off the disabled list.
Jacoby knocked into a double play. That was back in the second. He is 0 for 2. On a line to right field, Henniger comes in. One gone. Hey, you want to play with the pro? Well, today is your last chance to play with an LPGA player at the Volvic LPGA Championship, coming up Wednesday, May 23rd in Ann Arbor. If you'd like more details or if you'd like to enter for a chance to win, go to foxsportsdetroit.com. Sweepstakes end at midnight, so get your entry in.
I think our very own Trevor Thompson and Matt Shepard are playing in the Volvic Championship. A couple of high rollers, yeah, a couple of high rollers.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Here's Castellanos. And they could play.
You know Trev's listening, man.
I know.
Shep probably listening too. You think Shep's still up?
Oh, Shep's definitely up. Are you kidding me?
The hardest working man in show business.
11:20 back home. Oh, Shep's got a long way to go before he goes to bed. It's been a good night for Nick. Single steal, run scored, had a double taken away and a diving play by Seager. That was in his last at bat. Snap throw back. And back in there.
had a real nice shot on Leonis Martin last night in the dugout, and basically it's everything that Ron Gardenhire said about him in the dugout. He just chirps and he just gets everybody involved when he gets in one of those moods. He had the whole dugout laughing.
Tapped in front of the plate and back to the mound. Hernandez throws out Castellanos. That'll advance the runner. 2 away. Victor Martinez will step to the plate. He takes on the Seattle Mariners in today's AARP. Career at Safeco Field, a .338 batting average for V-Mart.
It's 2 outs, and they have a base open. And you just wonder if Scott Service will allow the veteran pitcher Hernandez, to pitch to Victor. It's kind of cold putting that AARP over Victor, isn't it?
Huh. No. Now, see, I didn't even realize that until you brought it up. Walk in a pop-up. And Hernandez deals a breaking ball strike. Well, he pitched it around V-Mart with a base open in the first inning. It ended up costing him because Hicks doubled in 2.
Yeah, they don't shift as much in this particular situation with Victor. You see Segura, he is right behind Martin at second base. We already showed you if Victor goes into that right center field gap on the ground, he's going to get a base hit and drive in a run.
Ooh, that was a close play at second.
This is a predetermined play, and I think the catcher just kind of flashes a few signs down. He just kind of, when Felix looks back home, he just kind of tells him that you can throw that ball to second base. That's a nice pick there. And really what you're hoping to do when you throw that ball to second, yes, you'd love to pick the base runner off second base if you can, but what you're trying to get him to do is move a little bit closer to that bag, which would prevent him from scoring on a base hit, possibly. And Felix is going to try to get Victor to chase something here. Victor might not get another strike.
Hey, Santiago makes another play, one-handed variety that time.
Oh, he's just showing out now.
Foul ground ball.
Santiago spent a little time in the Seattle Mariners uniform and traded to the Mariners. And then he came back to the Tigers.
Detroit was his baseball home for most of his career, but he did say he loved playing here in Seattle. Didn't play much with the big club here. Spent a lot of time in AAA. Chopper, and that is going to go foul.
Yeah, pretty much all slow stuff in this sequence to Victor. He started him off with a slow curveball. The last 2 pitches have been slow breaking balls.
So Hernandez up to 83 pitches. He threw 32 of them in the first inning, and that was after getting 2 quick outs.
78, 85, 79, 84. I wonder if he's going to come back with that 89-mile-per-hour fastball. There he did.
Hicks waiting on deck. 1-2 on Victor. Oh, what a stab down there.
Oh, these girls on these sidelines, they can pick it. They don't play here in Seattle.
That ball was scalded.
I think most of the girls here play some softball because they make all the plays.
Pretty good. And again, the 1-2. Driven to right field, but foul.
I heard the Fox Sports Detroit softball team can use a little help, partner. They've gotten off to a sluggish start. You got an off night next week when we get back to the house.
What's their record?
0-2.
Okay. I got no shot of helping them. Now she might be able to help. Judging by that last play she made.
Oh, that's right. You know it.
Yeah, V-Mart continues to battle here, driving up the pitch count of Felix.
Look at Felix looking at Victor Martinez. Now Victor won't look at him. And both of these guys are from Venezuela. And not only do they compete on the baseball field, but off the field, they're all really good friends. Lengthy at bat for Victor. Tigers are hoping it ends with a base hit.
Fly ball in the air, hit pretty good to left field. It might be better than that. That's going to be over the head of left fielder Gamble. Another run will score. It's a double and an RBI for Victor Martinez.
It doesn't happen all the time, but most of the time when a hitter has that lengthy of an at-bat against a pitcher, and the end result is usually a base hit somewhere, and Victor Martinez was on everything that Felix was throwing up there, finally getting something that's up in the strike zone and flipping it over the head of Gamble in left field for a double and another RBI. Tigers lead 4-0. Big 2-out knock.
Huge error by Healy started the inning, and that error comes around to score. There's another ground ball to Healy. He will field this one to end the inning. Tigers get another run. RBI double by V-Mart, 4-0. Back here in Seattle, no score, and a really nice night for baseball here. The Tigers playing game 2 in this series as Safeco. And Michael Fulmer has been in command so far with 6 strikeouts. And it's going to be Seager to lead things off. Kyle Seager, and then Ryan Healy and Ben Gamble. Fulmer struck out a pair in the 4th. He got Seager to pop up his only timeout.
Michael's pitch count is in outstanding shape. He's only thrown 43 pitches through 4 frames today. That is just a little over 10 pitches per inning. Yeah.
Well, the Tigers last night struck out 14 Seattle batters, 13 of them swinging. And Fulmer's got 6 more punch outs tonight, so they're really starting to rack them up. 2-0 pounded foul back out of play. Another mid-90s fastball for Fulmer. Two and two. Seager had a double in the ball game last night, but struck out 3 times. So a little bit of a mixed bag for him last night. He's made 2 fine defensive plays tonight. Ball high, laid off. In the air to right field. Right in front of the warning track. Castellanos will haul it in. 1 gone. Fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device. With Fox Sports Go, download the app. Take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by T-Mobile. 1 away now, and here is Ryan Healy. Line to the shortstop in his only at bat. And Healy looks at ball 1. Tigers, with a win tonight, will continue to creep again closer to 500. They came in 3 under at 20 and 23. And there a strike.
Yeah, the Tigers also 2 games over 500 at home. And just a few games under 500 on the road. So they love to get back to 500 before they get back to Comerica Park. That would be a really good road trip. Ooh, nice slide piece at 86. He's got a really nice release point with his slider, and he's been dotting that outside corner with it.
Fulmer is throwing a 1-hitter tonight. Gave up a single to Segura in the first, and that has been it. Here's the 1-2. Got it. 7 strikeouts for Fulmer.
When Michael is pitching the way that he is pitching today and locating that slider whenever he wants to on the outside black, and then he comes back with the 96 up top, it's just been a real long night right now for the Mariners. They haven't had good swings at Michael. Every last one of Michael's strikeouts have come on the fastball. That last fastball at 97, that's been his best of the evening. It's almost like Mario, in his work in between starts, he's committed to going back to his fastball and establishing that, and then going to the off-speed pitches, the secondary pitches.
That's in the air to right center field, and it's going to get down a base hit. 2-out single for Gamble.
Instead of pitching the other way with a heavy dose of sliders and changeups and an occasional fastball.
Well, Fulmer had retired 13 straight before that base hit. It's going to bring up Zunino, who struck out in the third. Fulmer's season high is 9 punch-outs this year.
Did Matthew Boyd establish a new career high last night?
He did, with 9. And Zunino looks at a strike. Dropped in a breaking ball, 0-1. Zunino, a decorated college career at the University of Florida. Swing and miss, 0-2. He has been no match tonight for Fulmer.
Yeah, Michael just continues to throw that fastball at the top of the strike zone to Zunino with that uppercut swing that Zunino has. He continues to swing underneath it. That's one of the problems that you have these days of guys that like to hit the ball in the air and hit the ball out of the ballpark. They can't catch up to the elevated fastball.
In the air to shallow center for Martin, and that is that. In the 5th, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Let's go to the 6th. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, it's the Chevy Memorial Day sales event. Start your summer off right in a new Chevrolet. Tigers have the lead here 4-0 back in Seattle. The Tigers opening up a 4-game set. And it's going to be Nico Goodrum, James McCann, and Jose Iglesias facing Felix Hernandez, who is up to 89 pitches.
When you were broadcasting your games in the Pacific Coast League, was Vancouver still in the league?
It was.
Oh, beautiful.
Greatest city ever.
Oh, my God. Beautiful.
Yeah, one of the stops that we love to go to. Old Nat Bailey Stadium.
Nat wasn't all that much, but
Nat
the city was tight, though.
You know, as a broadcaster, they had, I think, a stairway where you had to drag your equipment up that just seemed to go forever up at Nat Bailey Stadium. But, yeah, it wasn't much, but it was a great city. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Worlder foul, 1-2 on Nico. Goodrum with a double in the 1st, providing his 11th RBI of the year. Hammered to center field. Heredia going back, still going back. He'll run it down.
Nico's hit 2 bullets today.
Hey, the Liney Summer Party Pack includes a game ticket and voucher for a draft beer for as little as $19 per person. Available for every Friday and Saturday home game. If you'd like tickets, go to tigers.com/Liney. One away now for McCann. What was your favorite minor league city to play in?
Buffalo, New York.
Really?
I had the most fun there. I mean, I played there in '97, and that's when they were still playing in the rock pile. War Memorial Stadium. Yeah. And the place wasn't all that, man, but they had so much going on in that city, and it was just, we had a really good team, and it was a lot of fun, man. You ever broadcast a game there?
Never. In fact, I've never been to Buffalo. So
oh, man,
no,
it was, I mean, we had so much fun there that year. Steve Swisher was our manager, and we just, I mean, they had the Earl of Bud that used to dance in between innings. They had a lot of stuff going on, man. They really did. It was a really fun time playing there. And we had a really nice team, and Steve Swisher was a real good manager. But that was the funnest season in the minors that I ever had.
Now, I would bet that Colorado Springs was the best ballpark you'd like to hit in.
I hit 100. I drove in 100 runs that year
right?
I played in Colorado. I sure did.
Yeah, ball flew there. I remember that broadcasting in that league. But I think you go to a place like Vegas and fly there, Albuquerque.
Yeah. That was a good. Even in Arizona, the balls were flying.
Yeah.
That was a great hitters league. Great hitters league. Pacific Coast League. Pitchers didn't like it very much.
No, not at all. And I think you had to really kind of look at stats there for pitchers with a grain of salt. The 0-2 swung and a miss, tied him up. Mac can't believe he swung at that ball. 2 gone.
Let's take a look at the big boys' big play. And this last night, Iglesias with a couple of runners aboard. He got the huge hit in the 8th inning, right back up the middle to drive in a couple, and the Tigers bullpen did the rest.
Tonight, a walk, a single, and a stolen base. Tigers have swiped 2 bags in this game, and we were talking earlier about how Ryan Gardenhire has been playing a different brand of baseball. This time last year, the Tigers had 11 steals. They now have 20, counting their 2 tonight. So they've been running more, and that means more than just taking stolen bases, but also taking the extra base. Going first to third. 1-1 on Iglesias.
I told you everywhere I go in Detroit, whether it be the supermarket, whether it be the gym, whether it be restaurants, and people are very excited about watching this team, the energy that they're playing with. Everybody had this team losing 100 games this year. The players took it personal. So no, we're not.
There were quite a few doomsdayers coming out of spring training.
Good cut by Iggy. He's trying to hit that one out of the yard. And Felix is season high in pitches thrown this year, 101. He's done that twice.
Right back past the mound. Fielding there is Gordon. And not in time. Infield hit for Iglesias.
Gordon is playing second base for the first time tonight, although he is a second baseman. He's won a Gold Glove at that position, and he played second base last year, but he allowed this ball to play him. When you got a guy that gets down the line as fast as Iglesias does, you have to charge the ball. But D stayed back on it, and he was on his heels when he got it, and that just allowed Iglesias to beat it out. I mean, you got to come get that ball. It's a great job by Jose. He stole a base hit. How many times do you see a routine ground ball to second base, a base hit?
Not very often. And Iglesias busting it down the line. And there's a strike call. Dixon Machado. Seattle trying to get Hernandez through the 6th inning here. He's up to 102, which is a season high now in pitches in any start.
Iglesias already swiped the bag here today, and it just looks like he's feeling really good tonight. Game-winning knock in last night's game. A walk and a steal.
There he goes. Zunino, no throw. It's off his glove. Another stolen base. Second of the night for Iglesias, 3rd for the Tigers.
Does he lead the team in steals now?
Well, he's got a total of 7.
He does lead the team in steals. I don't even think I have to look.
You know, before this year is done, he could be a 20 stolen base guy.
And wait a minute. One more question. Is the career high for him 7? Maybe. Already.
Machado cuts and misses.
That's the one thing about Iglesias we always wondered. When we first got him, he was getting down that line in a hurry. 33 infield singles when we first got him, but he wasn't stealing bases.
Right.
It was hard to equate.
And Machado goes down swinging. And that'll be it. 4 strikeouts for Felix. Tigers leave a man. Heredia, Gordon, Segura coming up.
You know, the ties between the Tigers and the Mariners organization never cease to wonder. And when you come up to the Dave Niehaus Broadcast Center here at Safeco, you'll notice a couple of them. Of course, Rick Riz, who we talked about earlier, called Tigers games for parts of 3 seasons in between stints with the Mariners. And as you go further down this wall of Mariners broadcasters, you may see a familiar face and name. Bill Freehand. Yes, that Bill Freehand of the 1968 World Series champion Tigers. Of course, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of that World Series championship this year. But once upon a time, Bill Freehand was a Mariners broadcaster. Did it for 2 years here, from 1979 to 1980. And Mario, I'm just wondering, as you look back at Bill Freehand's career statistics, if perhaps the Hall of Fame missed its calling with this guy.
Well, Mick, they might have when you consider 11 All-Star games, 5 Gold Gloves, and a couple of top 3 finishes for MVP. Bill had a great career.
Yeah.
Did not know that he broadcasted here in Seattle.
Willie Horton also played here. Willie Horton spent some years here playing for the Seattle Mariners. He, of course, was on that 68 World Series team as well.
Well, a hit batter to get things started here as D. Gordon steps in now as Heredia was plunked by Mr. Fulmer. Straight foul back out of play.
This did not feel very good. Not at all. He's even got that protection on the elbow. 96, though, just doesn't feel good.
There's been a history between these 2 teams this year of guys getting hit. Of course, the big one is Robinson Cano, who had his hand broken by Blaine Hardy in the last homestand. Then, of course, Cano was suspended, so that became a moot point. But back and forth we go with hit batters in this series. Here's the 0-2 to Gordon. Back him out of there.
It made Gordon move his feet with an aggressive 95-mile-per-hour fastball inside.
Here's Fulmer's 1-2. High fly ball center field. Martin racing back. One gone.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Michael Fulmer has thrown 37 pitches, 95 miles an hour and above. 37 of the 64 have been high-octane velocity, and one of those pitches today, 97.
Gene Segura now with 1 out. Fly ball right field, not deep. Nick coming in. 2 away.
If you weren't with us last night, we told you that the Seattle Mariners ball club had been hit 24 times going into the contest. And they lead baseball in hit batters. Another one tonight. Anybody get hit last night, Mario?
Looking at my sheet, I don't see anybody.
No, I don't see it either. So that's 25 times this year Seattle's been hit.
I think, however, though, there's a ball outside. They have hit almost as many as they've been hit.
Eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye.
2 for 2.
And baseball tends to even out that way. Haniger the batter. Here's the 1-0. Hard ground ball to short. Iggy will flip to second for the force. That'll end the inning. No runs. Hit batter. 1 left. 6 in the books here in Seattle. 7th, here's our Ram pick the stick update. And Rod's got 5 with Vimar today. And so does Simo with Iglesias.
Everybody doing a pretty nice job today for the most part.
Gibby, well, -2 so far this evening. Get you the final results. Tigers Live postgame. Wallside Windows pitching change here as Dan Altavilla comes in now for Seattle.
Altavilla has been in 16 games, 4 holds, 3.68 ERA. Fastball mid to upper 90s. Hard thrower. Everything is hard when not throwing that fastball in the mid to upper 90s. He's got a slider that he's throwing at about 87 miles an hour.
Huge swing there by Leonis.
A lot of Leonis' swings today have been huge. He spent 10 days on the disabled list, and he had not seen live pitching, and he comes back. And today his swing's just a little big. We also told you that he spent some time in a Seattle Mariners uniform. These are his former teammates, so he's trying to do a little bit more than he's probably capable of doing right now. It's not uncommon.
Martin reaching on an error in his last at bat. That was the 5th inning. Scored a run.
Crucial error by Healy at first base.
High fly ball left field. Hit pretty good. Gamble going back. Going to the warning track to haul it in. 1 away. He calling all soccer fans. Make sure to tune in tomorrow at 6 as Detroit FC of the National Premier Soccer League play host to FC St. Pauli. That's tomorrow at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit, or streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Seattle Sounders play right across the street here in Seattle. It's quite a complex here.
You a big soccer fan?
You know, I get into the World Cup every 4 years, but that's about it. How about you?
I mean, I watch a little bit of the World Cup. I mean, I don't follow it religiously, but when it's on, I will take a peek at it.
Here's Jacoby Jones.
I'll tell you, I did enjoy playing soccer, though, as a kid, though. I just love running around and kicking that ball. It's a good sport. A lot of Major League Baseball players played some soccer when they were younger. It's a good sport to get you some good agility, get you running on the balls of your feet.
Altavilla, 98, blew away Jacoby Jones. 2 gone. This guy's throwing gas.
Yes, he is. And mid to upper 90s. And he's got a really good slider, too. Let's see if he starts Nicholas Castellanos off with that slider, because Nick can hit a mid-90s fastball.
One for 3 for Nick. Single steal run scored.
Seager at third base also robbed Nick of a double. That's 98 right there.
Nick with 15 multi-hit games. He leads the Tigers with 24 RBIs this year. And the outer edge at 99 from Altavilla.
That is an unhittable pitch. It is 99 miles an hour on the black outside. Unhittable.
Was he throwing this hard last week?
I don't remember him touching 99 last week.
Straighten him up at 96. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Little chopper left side of the infield. Segura charging. Quick throw is in time. Got him by half a step. Tigers go 1-2-3. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. Bottom of the 7th here in Seattle, and well, Michael Fulmer, any concerns about the Tigers right-hander have certainly been abated in this ball game tonight. He's been really from pitch one in control here this evening.
I mean, lots of first pitch strikes. I mean, he came out on a mission. I mean, he had his foot on the gas pedal just about every pitch 95 and above. He has started to incorporate that slider the last couple of innings. Seattle really has not been able to do anything against Michael, and he just faced him 5 days ago, and they had good at-bats against him, but he made a nice adjustment.
Here's the other thing about tonight's ball game is the Tigers again playing aggressive baseball. They've stolen 3 bases in this game. They got off to an early lead on Felix Hernandez, and so far it's held up.
Well, they saw Felix in Comerica Park on the 12th of May, and he really teased them a lot of changeups and sliders out of the strike zone. Lloyd McClendon had these guys looking up in the strike zone. Felix made some mistakes in the first inning, and they scored 3 runs, and Michael Fulmer has done the rest.
So Fulmer going back to work here in the 7th inning. 2-2 the count on Nelson Cruz, who is leading things off for Seattle. And Cruz fouls it back.
Fulmer is kind of a throwback. I mean, there aren't many guys in the big leagues that can throw 95 in the first inning and maintain that same velocity through 9 innings. But Michael Fulmer is one of those guys. And Ron Gardenhire said before the game that he's our horse and we need him to go deep in the game today. And Michael, he's done all that.
Well, Fulmer now is still only at 73 pitches here in the 7th.
And he's got a lot left in his tank.
Here's the 3-2, and he walked him. Had Fulmer upset with himself there.
And first walk of the game for Michael Fulmer. He hit one batter, but here's what Michael's been doing all night long. If you tuned in late, lots of fastballs 95 and above. And when not throwing that fastball, it's been a wicked, I mean wicked slide piece anywhere from 84 to 87 miles an hour. He's racked up a bunch of strikeouts. This is vintage Michael Fulmer here tonight through 6 frames.
Here's Kyle Seager. Seattle has not had too many base runners in this game tonight. At one point, Fulmer had retired 13 consecutive Seattle batters. He has hit 1, he has walked 1, and he has struck out 7, so a lot of zeros in the Mariners box tonight. The 0-1. Fulmer allowed 6 runs in his last start, 5 the start before that. He also had 6 walks in those 2 games, and he has walked only 1 here tonight. Seager a pop up and a fly ball. He's 0 for 2. Here's the 1-2. 2-2 now on Kyle Seager. Seager back in the month of April picked up the 1,000th hit of his career. High again, so from 0-2 he's gone to 3-2 after walking Nelson Cruz. Juan Nicasio warming up in the Seattle pen. Fouled away. Fulmer now is up to 80 in the pitch count total. And most of his innings have been right on point. 10, 11 pitches. And a 9-pitch sixth. And he walked him. So back-to-back walks here in the 7th.
And Basio's going to have to go visit him.
Time for a game break now. We check in with Trevor Thompson.
Dude, how good is Charlie Morton?
Oh, man, with all the talent they've got in that rotation.
My goodness.
Tigers, meanwhile, they win here tonight. They're within a half game of first place. Looks like Buck Farmer getting ready to start to warm up.
Hey, get yourself a ground ball right here, Michael.
Driven down the right field line, foul by Ryan Healy, who has power. Be careful with him.
Here's where Michael needs to become a pitcher. Now, he's been overpowering Seattle all night long. He's run into some wildness here in the 7th inning, but right now he should just be concentrating on getting a ground ball. You don't necessarily need a strikeout. Get some soft contact on the ground.
Went up top at 96, threw it by him.
He don't want a ground ball, does
he? No. He may be listening, but he still wants to throw it by you and rack up another strikeout. That is Buck Farmer warming up.
That Tigers bullpen was tremendous last night. And Buck was the first one out of that bullpen last night for Ron Gardenhire after Matthew Boyd did his mastery. Michael Fulmer tonight. 73% with that fastball. 75% of them are strikes. He's gotten a lot of whiffs on it. He's got 7 strikes on his heater. It's topped out at 97. This, however, has been his most stressful inning.
Seattle, like the Tigers, have been a good comeback team this year. Fulmer was cruising until a walk to Cruz, a walk to Seager. Nobody out. Little chopper slowly toward third. Goodrum on the charge. He'll throw out Healy. The runners will advance, one gone.
And he got the ground ball, but it wasn't hit hard enough to turn 2. And nice play by Goodrum, who was occupying third base tonight. Pete Cosmo had started the last few games over at third.
It's going to bring up Ben Gamble. Michael tonight has allowed only 2 hits. There's been relatively little traffic on the bases this evening. Gamble pounds one foul back out of play. Single strikeout for Gamble. Tigers got 3 in the first. They scored 1 more in the 5th. And they have led all night long from the get-go against Hernandez. 0-2. Ground ball back up the middle and into right center field. That's going to score 2 runs. Gamble with a wide turn has his 2nd hit of the night, and Seattle now is on the board. It's a 4-2 ball game.
And Ron Gardner now has a decision to make. And does he allow Fulmer to stay out there? Fulmer's had a wonderful outing tonight, and the last thing Ron wants him to do is leave this game with a bad taste in his mouth, and Ron's made that decision.
Gardy coming out. That appears to be it for the right-hander Fulmer.
He has pitched way too good here today for him to stay around long enough to get a loss in this game.
2 walks in the inning, 1 to Cruz, 1 to Seager, and they both have come around to score. And that'll be it for Michael. To the bullpen we go. We'll be back. Michael Fulmer's night is done. 4-2 is our score. The Mariners have scored a couple here. Still responsible for the runner at first. Good night though for Fulmer. 7 strikeouts in 6 1/3. And now Mike Zunino facing Buck Farmer. And he'll spin one up there but miss low. 1-0. Wall side windows. Pitching change.
And Buck has been very busy this year, pitching in his 22nd contest. 3.48 ERA, 23 strikeouts, 12 walks. He's got a mid-90s fastball and a really good changeup.
2-0.
If you're going to throw Zunino a strike here, make sure you get it at least up around the belt buckle. He's a low ball hitter, but he's had a difficult time with that fastball up today that Michael was throwing. And Buck's got 94, 95 too.
Strikeout, fly out for Zunino. Here's the 2-1. Way outside. 3-1 now. He represents the tying run. You've got Heredia waiting on deck. He walked in. Zunino thought it was going to be called a strike. And that is the 3rd walk in the inning now. I was heading out a strike. Even Zunino thought it was one. Here's Chris Bosio. Chevrolet's most dependable players for the Tigers. Well, it's got to be the bullpen. What a comparison here. Look at the difference, Rod, between March and April and the month of May.
And it's one of the reasons why the team has performed so well. And as you mentioned with the win here today, a half game out of first place. 4.84 ERA in March and April. They've shaved a bunch off of that in the month of May. 3.16 as we speak. And it's performing like one of your better bullpens in baseball thus far. The Bucks got to get it together, though. It's a one-sided conversation out there. Fazio did not appear to be happy.
Well, Farmer now has walked the tying run to first base. Tigers and Seattle both with 4 mound visits remaining.
And here's the guy that's been hitting Tigers pitching very well. Heredia.
He came in over 400 career against the Tigers.
He was smoked by a 96-mile-per-hour fastball in the 6th, and by Michael.
Fulmer started the inning by walking Cruz and Seager. 1 out later, a single by Gamble scored 2. And then Farmer comes on to walk the number 8 hitter, Zunino. Strike 1 to Heredia. Three out of 4 last night with an RBI. Off the plate. Tigers bullpen is averaging about 9 strikeouts per 9 innings in the month of May. That has been one of their better months as well in terms of piling up the strikeouts. Outside, 2-1. Soppold has joined Stump in the Tigers bullpen. That almost hit it way inside. Now the count goes to 3-1. And Farmer has not been able to throw strikes.
Well, this is his last batter. It'll be Daniel coming in to go after B. Gordon. And regardless of the outcome here,
he walked in ball 4, and that will load the bases.
no way.
Back-to-back walks issued by Farmer. It's going to be it for Buck with Gordon due next. Daniel Stump will be coming in. So the Tigers bullpen a little bit shaky here in the 7th. Now Stump will come in, and we'll be back.
Well, 4-2 ball game. The M's have loaded them up here, and now Daniel Stump is on a wall side windows pitching change.
Man, last time we saw Daniel Stump, he was pitching out of a bases loaded jam that he had created. It was a few days ago at Comerica Park against the Cleveland Indians. And Daniel has inherited 11 base runners this year, and 5 of those have come around to score.
D. Gordon stands in. Fouls off the first 0-1. Gordon is 0 for 3. He is 0 for 5 this year with the bases loaded. Tying run right now standing at second for Seattle. Drill to right field. Castellanos on the move. He'll make the catch. Gamble tags and scores. It is a 4-3 ball game. A sac fly and an RBI for D. Gordon. More importantly, 2 gone. So Daniel comes out and get the lefty. That'll be it for him. Back to the bullpen go the Tigers. 4-3 ball game. We'll be back. Tigers take on the White Sox 1:10 p.m. Tigers Sunday Kids Day. First 10,000 fans get a free Nicholas Castellanos bobblehead. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER. Well, here is Warwick Soppold now. He is facing Gene Segura with 2 on and 2 outs. 3 runs in for Seattle.
He came in last night as well to face Gene Segura, and he got him to ground out to first base.
That'll miss high. 1-0. Zunino is the runner at second. You got Heredia at first. Inside, 2-0 now on Gene Segura. Wall side windows change numbers on Warwick Soppold.
And Warwick having a good season. 230 earned run average, pitching in his 16th game. And the league hitting 241 against him.
Sliced foul. Ooh, another good play down there.
You already know.
Oh my goodness. She's picking and grinning down there.
I think Fox Sports Detroit is going to try to make a phone call, see if they could get her to relocate to the Motor City to get on that softball team.
She would be instantly the best player on that team.
Ooh, did you?
I did. Did you see that last play?
I sure did.
2-1 on Segura. Fouled away now. 2-2. Tigers clinging to a run lead here in the 7th.
Tigers have really good arms in their outfield. And Jacoby Jones in the outfield has a well above average arm, and he's accurate. Leonis Martin has a tremendous arm from center field, and Nicholas Castellanos also has a strong arm from right field. And Zunino running in a catcher at second base. We might have a play at home plate if Segura gets a base hit.
Ground ball at the middle, base hit. Here comes Martin charging. Here comes Zunino trying to score. Throw to the plate, not in time. It's an RBI hit for Gene Segura, and it's a brand new ball game.
With 2 outs, Zunino on second base got a really good break on the base hit. And even though Martin has a really good arm from center field, he was playing rather deep, and Zunino was able to come in and score on a pretty good throw from Martin. Well, 4 walks in the inning, and 3 of the 4 walks have come home to score.
Here is Mitch Haniger now. A 4-run 7th, and it all started with the 2 base on balls by Fulmer,
who was absolutely cruising and through the first 6 innings.
Haniger rolls one to third, foul. So now the go-ahead run is at second base. It'll be a no decision tonight for Michael, who has not won a ball game in a while. The last time Fulmer, in fact, the only time Fulmer won a game this year, April 7th. The 0-1. Up and in. That run will be charged to Farmer. 3 runs charged to Michael Fulmer.
Baseball is such a funny game. Michael was just absolutely dealing out there. Did not look like he was going to give up anything here today. All of a sudden, the 2 base on balls. He got some runners on the base paths, and the Mariners have done the rest.
Just like it happened in Texas 2 starts ago, only that was in the 6th inning. It happened in the 7th here tonight.
Great point.
And Fulmer in 1 point had retired 13 in a row. 1-2 on Mitch Haniger. And a bounce in, blocked by McCann. 2-2. Farmer, Stump, and Suppold here in the 7th. Fouled away.
Artie Lewicki, who pitched very well in that final game at Comerica Park before we left, is, at least they said he's not available today. They want to give him 1 more day of rest after pitching and throwing as many pitches as he did the other day. So the Tigers a little bit thin out there tonight in the bullpen.
Haniger is hitless in this game tonight. Bounced out his last time up. They bat around here in the 7th inning. 9th man coming to the plate here. Line drive to left, base hit. That's going to get the go-ahead run in. Heredia scores. Throw to third, not in time. Double RBI for Mitch Haniger, and Seattle has taken the lead. Couple of clutch 2-out knocks.
Yeah, they've had some really good at-bats in this particular inning. That's a breaking ball that Haniger gets out in front of and rips it down the left field line. Jacoby Jones, he wanted to throw the ball to second base, but his momentum was carrying him over toward the line so far. Had he thrown it back to second base, it was going to be a double anyway for Haniger. And a good third base coach may have entertained the thought of sending a runner home. So that was a wise decision there by Jacoby to throw the ball to third.
Here is Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, he started this mess.
That he did. Leadoff walk against Fulmer got it going for Seattle.
And don't turn them TVs off yet back at the house. You know how this Tigers team's been.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 now on Cruz. 2 strikeouts to go with his walk. 5-4, Seattle in the lead. Missed it high and away. 1-2. Cruz coming back after taking a ball off his foot on Tuesday. Missed a couple of games.
Man, you can't let him get a hit here. You got to make sure you make a quality pitch here.
Little chopper to shortstop. Here's Iglesias. That'll end the inning. Big inning though. 5 runs for Seattle. They have taken the lead. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Seventh for Seattle. They have a 5-4 lead. And Michael Fulmer was dominant first 6 innings, and then all of a sudden in the 7th.
Yeah, he hadn't walked anybody through the first 6 frames, and he was only averaging 11 pitches per inning. No base runners basically, but whatever happened in that 7th inning, it just kind of unraveled there a little bit.
To the bullpen go the Mariners. It's going to be Juan Nicasio, the veteran right-hander.
Yeah, 22nd game for Juan this year, and he has not been having a good season. The ERA sits almost 6.5. He does have 12 holds. He doesn't walk anybody, so if you're the Tigers, you can be aggressive. 21 strikeouts against the 2 base on balls.
Victor, then Hicks, and then Goodrum here in the 8th. Tigers down by a run now.
And should Victor reach? Victor Reyes will be popping out of that dugout.
First one is high and away. 1 ball and no strikes. Swing and a miss. 93 from the veteran Nicasio. 31 years of age now, out of San Pedro de Macorís. Tigers had Lewis Coleman warming up. Strike call now, 1-2.
Good fastball right there. And from Juan at 94.
Up until this year, Nicasio pitching in the National League exclusively. Philadelphia, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Colorado. Dodgers. Straight foul out of play. Well, it was in the 8th inning last night that VMR singled and got the winning runs, or winning rally started, I should say. He's got a double, a walk, an RBI tonight.
And Nicasio just trying to and blow Victor away with that mid-90s fastball. The previous pitch was 94. That one 95. Iglesias got the game-winning hit against Nicasio at Comerica Park when the Mariners were there last week.
Fought that one off. He continues to battle here against Nicasio. Tigers got 3 in the first. They added 1 more in the 5th inning. They were cruising 4-0, and then a 5 spot in the 7th for Seattle.
I thought that Ron Gardenhire made the proper move to get Michael out of the game after the 2 base on balls, but the bullpen just couldn't bail Michael out here today. A bullpen by and large that's been really good in the month of May.
Well, he pieced it together last night and it worked tonight.
Yep.
And just couldn't get it done. Again, the 1-2. Victor hammers one in the air to right center field, and it's going to be caught on the run there by Heredia.
In the last half inning, things just unraveled. Michael Fulmer had a couple of walks in that particular inning. Gamble got the big base hit. Farmer comes in, he walks a couple as well. And the D. Gordon gets a sac fly. Segura with a big base hit up the middle. Haniger with a double down the left field line. When it was all said and done, 5 spot for the Seattle Mariners in the bottom half of the 7th to take the lead.
I thought that ball was a gap. I really did.
Oh, yeah, he ran it down. Heredia's got some speed out there.
Swing and a miss, 0-1 on Hicks. Two-run double in the first inning got the Tigers off and running. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Nicasio last year made 65 appearances with the Pirates, and his ERA was 2.85.
Wow. He must have got a pretty nice deal to come to Seattle.
Here's the 1-1. Goodrum waiting on deck. Field to the track, right in front of the wall. 2 gone. Let's bring in Mickey York.
All right, Mario, I know the Tigers feel like they were freight trained that last inning. We actually rode one today. All right, not exactly a freight train. It was a Seattle monorail, which very reminiscent of the People Mover, but it just goes up and down throughout the city of Seattle, not around it. In fact, it's a 1-mile trek, and it was built in 1962 as part of the Seattle's World's Fair to promote the future of transportation. Well, a couple of folks are very gracious to let us come aboard today. We learned some really cool things. They maintain it as the fastest way to get from the middle of town at Westlake Center up to the Seattle Center, which is home, of course, to the Space Needle. The folks were just gracious to us today, and we really enjoyed it. And you know what? The best part was, at the end of the ride, I got to honk the horn.
Did you really?
Yeah, they wouldn't let me drive it. I tried to weasel my way into the captain's chair. That was resoundingly shot down.
That would have been a mess.
But I got to beep the horn, and they said, okay, now it's time for you to go.
Sweet. All right, Mick, thanks. Not exactly the freight train that Mickey built it out to be, but still it had to be fun nonetheless.
That thing goes 37 miles an hour. What are you talking about? We were flying.
1 ball, 1 strike on Goodrum, and Nico looks at a strike 1 and 2.
Tigers have hit 2 balls really hard in this inning against Nicasio. That ball that Heredia ran down off the bat of Victor Martinez, and then Hicks lined out sharply to right field, so he's not necessarily tricking him.
Nico with a double and RBI and a deep fly ball to center in his last at bat.
Nico's got some pop in that bat. He's homered 4 times this year.
Calling it. It could happen.
He hit about 5 or 6 in spring training too, didn't he? Jimenez is up if the Tigers take the lead or possibly tie the score. It might be Coleman if they're trailing.
Now the 1-2. Little chopper back up the middle. Fielded by Nicasio. Going to be a 1-2-3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Blazing at a 37-mile-an-hour clip. Mickey York's in there somewhere.
It'll pin your ears back.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time to come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com to see why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Wow, what a beautiful shot of downtown Seattle, the Space Needle. Here is our game summary. Michael Fulmer tonight, 6 1/3, was dominant until the 7th when things kind of unraveled. Gave up 3 earned runs.
Yeah, 7th inning, the Mariners. 5 runs on 3 hits, 4 walks in that frame. There's no defense against the base on balls.
Well, Seattle now will face a new Tigers pitcher. It's Lewis Coleman.
Coleman was pitching some good baseball down in the minor leagues in Toledo. In 15 innings, a 2.40 ERA. He's got a lot of big league experience. Most of that with the Kansas City Royals from years in 2011 through 2015.
Kyle Seager leads it off for Seattle.
Huge shift on Seager. He gets shifted on as much as any left-handed batter in the game. Victor Martinez, Chris Davis of the Baltimore Orioles also come to mind. Guys that get shifted on with regularity.
Two and 0. Seager, one of the huge walks in that 5-run 7th. He is 0 for 2 otherwise. 5 runs, 5 hits. Seattle 4 runs, 6 hits. The Tigers. Now the 2-0. Good pitch. 2-1.
And tomorrow night will come your way 1 hour earlier than we have the last couple of nights. Tigers Live starts at 8 p.m.
You'll need a shorter nap tomorrow.
Exactly.
Coleman, a scoreless inning in his last outing for the Tigers. Only 2 outings after being called up from Toledo. 2-2 is popped up foul. And McCann sprinting toward the dugout. Look out. He goes
hurt yourself,
fumbling.
James was going to slide in. When he hit the ground with his knee, it just stuck. Check this out. Oops. He can smile about it now.
That track down there is unforgiving. In front of the dugout. Now Seager will step out. 5-4 Seattle. We are in the 8th. Ball 3. Well, there he is. Diaz, their closer, is beginning to heat up.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see him tonight. And first time we've seen him this year.
I think we've seen high octane tonight. What did that guy get in?
That's right.
Triple digits. He will face the bottom of the order for the Tigers. McCann, Iglesias, Machado. They still have Matuk, Griner, Cosma, and Reyes on the bench. Coleman now with the 3-2. Pulled under the glove of Hicks. Still have a shot. And they get him at first. Nice play by Coleman to get over there. MLB at Bat is your #1 Detroit Tigers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment of the season. Tigers home screen icons. Features such as MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
It's not every day you'll see a 4-1 put out, but it's a nice job by Coleman getting over to the bag after the miscue by Hicks, and Dixon Machado picks it up and gives him a firm throw to record the out.
It's a 3-4-1 put out. Hicks touched that ball, didn't he?
I think he did.
Here's a bunt. McCann gunning. Got him. Nice play. Healy rumbling down there.
Piano jumped on his back as soon as he dropped down the bunt, though.
He just stopped.
Usually the piano don't get you till you round the third. Look at it. Whoa. It's a perfect bunt. He's out by 5 feet.
He was running on the beach.
You can't make a better bunt than that.
No, you can't.
Well, I guess maybe you can because he was out.
Well, for the normal guy, I guess. Here is Gamble now with 2 outs. 2 out of 3. Big 2-run single for Gamble.
Check him out. He's smelling it, though, ain't he? Gosh.
Gamble looks at a bender low. Tigers use Farmer's stump Sophold in the 7th inning.
Gamble's had a nice game. He drove in the first 2 runs in the 7th inning with a base hit. He also singled off of Michael Fulmer in the 5th.
Tap from the plate. It's going to be Coleman to pick it up and throw him out. 1-2-3 inning for Lewis Coleman. Let's go to the 9th. Tigers need a run. All right, Trent, thank you. And the Tigers now going to have to do it against the closer of the Mariners. Edwin Diaz will come in.
Yeah, Diaz has a fastball that will get up to 100 miles an hour. He has 14 saves, which means he's blown 2. He's got a 2.11 ERA, a whip under 1, 38 strikeouts, and 9 base on balls. The 14 saves that he has are the most in the American League.
McCann, Iglesias, Machado due up. Starts him off at 96. 1 ball and no strikes on chains. Opponents are batting .099 this year against Edwin Diaz. Averaging about 16K per 9. And that one's hit in the air to shallow center field. Going to drop, base hit. That way to get it started. McCann is aboard. Tying run is on.
Who's the pinch runner?
Here's the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Tomorrow it's going to be Mike Fiers and James Paxton. That'll be game 3 in the series. Paxton, of course, has a no-hitter this year.
Tigers had some great at-bats against James Paxton when they saw him at Comerica Park. Nico Goodrum took him deep.
Pete Kozma running at first base for McCann. Here is Iglesias. Iggy in the ball game has been on base 3 times. He has singled twice. He has stolen twice.
That's a very high leg kick for Diaz. Kozma not a base stealer by trade.
Oh, look out. Iggy sprawls to the ground. 97 came at his chin. Yikes. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why everybody's wearing those face guards now.
Yeah, that was a 97 mile power, looked like two-seam fastball that rode and got away from Diaz. Good cut by
Yeah, it
Eagle.
was. 97 again. 1-2.
Here comes that slide piece. Let's hope he bounces it and it gets past Zanino. That means Kozma will get himself in the scoring position. Yeah, that last one at 99. So he's inching ever so close to 100 miles an hour. Is Diaz.
Shane Green, Tigers closer, warming up. That's in the air to left field. It's going to stay in the ballpark, though, to the warning track. Kozma retreats. One out. Iggy almost got that one. Well, he's given us 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 homers here at home. Been much better on the road. Looks like Machado will not bat. Mikey Matuk will pick up the bat and pinch hit. .203 for Mikey, 2 for 4 in last night's game. Tigers had the tying run at first with 1 out, 5-4 Seattle. Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second. The tag is in time. Kozma's out.
Well, you had a feeling that they would try to steal a base here because Diaz is so slow getting the ball to home plate. But Zunino with an outstanding throw down and a good tag by Segura. Yeah, just like we promised you, it's Miller Lite. Hold true movement. Here it is. Good throw, good tag.
I don't mind that play, do you?
No, I don't mind the aggressiveness.
Strike called on Matuk.
The only question I would have is how come Victor wasn't pinch running?
I was about to say the same thing.
That's the only question that I would have.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Victor Reyes, that is.
Foul back out of play now. It's 0-2
because he is usually the one that comes out and runs, and he is faster than Kozma. But he probably was looking at the defense. I don't know. He was looking at probably Hicks going to catch, and then you had to take Kozma, put him in third because Goodrum was going to go to first if they would have tied the score up. I'm thinking that's what he's thinking, but I don't know for sure.
Swing and miss. He struck him out, and that is the ball game.
Tough loss tonight. Tough loss.
Tigers blow a 4-0 lead. Seattle wins at 5-4. Now we send you to the Call Sam Studios. Trevor Thompson, Craig Monroe standing by with Tigers live postgame.